Giaffoni will bring him up here. 40-minute time window, 20 laps of racing. The front end of the doubleheader here for the USF Pro Championships, USF Juniors, starting the second half of the 2023 season, and away they go. Out onto the front straightaway. Giaffoni punches off, and we are green, green, green. Fanning wide down into turn number one. A couple drivers trying the bottom part of the racetrack. They'll work their way through. Good looking so far. Let's see if everybody stays on the racetrack. They're good through turn number one. Top three drivers, four drivers lining up. A little bit too wide further back. Everybody trying to take advantage potentially of the deep braking zone. Big move down the bottom for one of the D-Force drivers, Brady Golan. I think he was able to get potentially by the inside of Eric Schouten there. Here they come. We'll pick them up as they work their way out of that downhill off-camber turn number two. Pick them up on the way down to turn three. The little kink in the middle of the corner. And then they'll go all the way down into turn number four. We'll pick them back up after the hard braking downhill of turn number four. They'll work their way to the right, back up the hill. Car gets super light at the top of the hill here. You're going to see who the leader is. And away we go. Giaffoni in the D-Force Racing out to the early lead, slotting into that second spot. I think it might be one of the VRD cars. It might have been Barker potentially up into that position. We'll check them out when they come back through. Otherwise, everybody pushing hard into Thunder Valley, cresting the hill of turn number 9. Car gets super light there as well. Got to have the car pointed in the right direction. Back up the top of the hill, and we're going to line them up for you as we are underway. Opening lap. One driver dropping a wheel, not surprising, coming out of turn 11. That's pretty easy to do. A blind corner coming out of Thunder Valley. You go through the right-hander of turn 10, back up over, and I believe a yellow flag, full course yellow. So we've lost a driver on the racetrack somewhere. Full course yellow, and we'll try to figure out who that is as they come across the line. One driver is out to start this off, and we'll see who's falling to the tail of the field. It may be Lucas Fakuri. Not quite sure. I wonder whether or not, no, it might be Ethan Ho. So front row starter Ethan Ho. Trying to pick him up around the racetrack. The only place that we really lose him is down in turn 4, and of course coming out of turn number 2 here, and we see potentially an AMR safety driver coming over to turn 2. So our camera not able to pick this up. So we could have an incident over in turn number 2. That's Fakuri, I think, further back. Remember, Lucas started back in the 12th position. So there's Fakuri. So maybe the off-pole starter as they came through turn number 2 for the first time. An incident with Ethan Ho. Tough for Ethan. Front row, off-pole. Not going to capitalize it here in race number 1. Indeed, the VRD drivers pounced on that one. Barker goes to 2nd, Taylor to 3rd, and Jimmy Lockhart to 4th. Quinn Armstrong 5th. 6th spot, Hudson Schwartz up from 8th. Jack Jeffers and Joey Brienza 7th and 8th. They started 6th and 9th, so Brienza gets a spot. Jeffers loses one on the opening circuit. You have to think everybody behind whatever incident happened probably was kind of checking up a little bit, looking to take evasive maneuvers. But yeah, one of the blind spots on the racetrack here, those of you maybe have tuned into our coverage from last weekend, obviously a much different broadcast setup for the NBC Sports crew and IndyCar, so got a couple of different camera angles for us where they've set cameras up for this NASCAR race. You can see the Hamatro safety crew here, I believe. We'll pick this up if we can in a couple seconds. Right here coming out of turn number 3, you can see the safety crew right there just on the exit of turn number 2. So you wonder whether or not potentially Ethan got pushed off, dropped a wheel, whatever it may be on the outside of the downhill right-hand turn number 2. But regardless, full course yellow. And again, we'll circulate under the yellow flag here right now. Lots of time with a 40-minute time window. And just a single car incident. You have to expect that the safety crew here on the track, of course, aided at all USF Juniors races by 3 members of the AMR USF Pro safety crew. Same guys you'll see at the IndyCar events. We have 3 of them at every one of our USF Juniors races to help out. 1 up in race control and 2 around the racetrack with the track crew. They obviously know our cars intimately, so a really great opportunity to get incidents cleaned up quite quickly. One of, again, the calling cards of USF Juniors is a focus on max green flag laps for all of our drivers. Giaffoni, though, out of the gate. Giaffoni, Barker, Taylor, Lockhart, Armstrong. Top 5. Again, while we have a bit of a downtime here, we will, again, say hello to those of you who have tuned in to the USF Pro Championships mobile app. If you haven't done so yet, as we get hold, let's jump in here real quick before we talk about the app. There's the car it's rolling with on the tow strap for Ho. That leads me to believe more of a mechanical than any kind of contact with another driver. So you wonder what happened here for Ethan Ho as they'll pull him down and out of the way, and we'll be able to get back to green flag racing. I don't know that they'll bring him all the way back to the paddock right now, rolling around like he is as slow as he's going. I would expect they'll probably pull him off the racetrack potentially at the end of the straightaway or up over in turn number 6. Nonetheless, Ethan Ho started on the outside of the front row, P14. Tough one for him. He'll have to fight back tomorrow with another qualifying session and another race here at Mid-Ohio. Back in the app, again, if you're watching on the YouTube channel and you have not yet downloaded the app that we have, the USF Pro Championships app, do that for sure. Doesn't matter where you are. I know you can watch YouTube on the on your phone, but live timing, of course, of our mini documentary, The Climb, brought to you by Discount Tire. Those are all those episodes are available on the app, as is my USF Pro Insider podcast. So really, it's a one-stop shop for everything for this USF Pro Championships. But again, if you're tuning in, wherever you're tuning in, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. A couple laps rolling here. Pace car, I believe, still staying behind, so no green as of yet, as they're still trying to get the car of Ethan Ho back. Here you see pace car still out there. Ho actually being brought around turn 6, so unsure whether they're bringing him all the way back around the track. Maybe they figure they can get him back in time, because we're obviously going to go one more lap around at low speed. They may be able to try to get him all the way back to the paddock, to pit lane, to potentially try to figure out what happened here mechanically. Shouldn't be too hard to get him all the way back to the paddock. Now, again, if you drop him off, you're going to go around one more lap anyways. You could pull him behind the wall somewhere, or you can get him all the way back and potentially get another lap in. So, Giafoni, again, we talked about up front. Barker in second. Taylor, Lockhart, and Armstrong, your top 5. Hudson Schwartz up to 6. Jeffers 7th. Brienza, Golan, and Schoten top 10. Eder runs 11th. Cabrera in 12th. Fakuri, some kind of an issue with Fakuri. He goes back to 13th, and Ethan Ho, again, the only DNF so far. There's the shot of that infamous run from turn 2 through the kink, turn 3, all the way down to turn number 4. When you're walking on the racetrack, right, in the coverage, when you don't have an angle like this, you feel like it's just a long straightaway down to turn number 4. But this kink here plays a big role because, again, if you're on the, let's say you come off, you don't really have to white line it completely coming out of 2, because even just the race line is going to lead you back to the apex of turn 3. So it's tough. You kind of want to be in the draft all the way to 3 and then tuck out. When that driver comes through that kink, either going to the outside to set up for the outside, you dive to the inside, or vice versa. If they cover up the bottom, you can roll to the outside. We've seen passes in turn 4, both on the inside and the outside, because there's a bit of banking as you roll into 4. You're on the brakes, but as you're releasing off the brake, there is some banking. I had a chance to walk the track last week with the IndyCar weekend, and there is a little banking through there. So get it down there. If you're on the outside, again, remember, when you're on the outside and you can make it hold, you're on the inside when you come back up the hill to turn number 5. That's what's so challenging about this racetrack. Track position on exit, so crucial on a couple of these corners. Pace car lights out. We're going racing. Giafoni will lead them back up here again. Great start for the drivers from VRD Racing. Barker, Taylor, and Lockhart will line up behind them. And we'll look to go green. And here they come. We'll go back out onto the front straightaway here. Field streaming through. Here's your shot. Coming back into turn 1, and Giafoni on the throttle. Away we go. Giafoni first into turn number 1. The VRD drivers lining up, the best we've seen them run so far this year in the challenge for a potential race win, or at least a couple of podium finishes. Lockhart going to work. In fact, no, that's from behind Lockhart. That's actually Armstrong trying to get in there as well. Look at Armstrong to the inside, I think, one of the cars. A little further back, the two exclusive cars were side by side. So let's get at it. Down into turn number 2. Out of the keyhole, and they'll fire their way down. Look at this. We got a draft. There's the one I told about right on the gearbox. Wait to get through 3. Giafoni says to the inside, and I think that's Barker to the outside. Ethan Barker thinking about the lead all the way down into turn number 4 as they'll stack them down into that hard-braking right-hander. Back up the hill to turn number 5, and Giafoni holds him off for now. Good pressure up front. Quinn Armstrong right in there. Hudson Schwartz as well. He's worked, as we talked about him being in 6th. The 2 exclusive cars behind him, Jeffers and Brienza. And as we saw last weekend here, the first couple laps is kind of hectic. Once you kind of get through the opening circuit, people settle in, then you've got the individual driver-on-driver battles as opposed to all the side-by-side action. Now everybody can go to work. Coming through the carousel, back onto the front chute. Back to green flag racing. 14 drivers in this USF Juniors program here in 2023, second year for the series. Debut of the Tatis JR23 car, which is essentially a modified version of the USF 2000 car. Some different components. Dial the horsepower down for consistency and reliability. Oh, the VRD driver's going at it right there. Taylor to the inside. I think he gets the move done. Book it. Max Taylor to the inside, I believe, in turn number 2. Does he hold it? That's what we'll see now as they work their way down here. Man, they are stacked. It's VRD on VRD now. They're allowing Giafoni to pull away a little bit. Little surprised on that early, that they wouldn't maybe try to line up, pull away a bit, and make sure that Giafoni doesn't stretch away. If that was any other driver, maybe. But you do not want to see Giafoni keep pulling away. Oh, so close there between the drivers running 3rd and 4th. Whew. That was either Barker and Lockhart or Taylor and Lockhart, depending on whether Taylor did eventually get by. Hard to pick it up here for you. We'll find out when they come back through. Oh, another driver dropping a wheel. That was one of the VRDs that dropped a spot, I think. Again, digging through the carousel. Love this corner. Downhill, another off-camber corner. Constant radius. There's your lead there for Giafoni. It's substantial now as they work their way through here. Barker still to 2nd, so no, it's Taylor. Taylor indeed up to P2, so he did make that move stick over in turn number 2. So that is indeed Taylor, but look at this. Here's a move back down the inside again. You got to worry about that. We're going to lose him here. Do they come out the other side? Barker tried the inside of Taylor again. We're going to know right here whether or not they had contact as they work their way out. Oh, that's a big gap. No, I think they may have had contact. Nope, they're still there. That's Quinn Armstrong, P4. But side by side through the downhill turn 2, keyhole, you're not getting, neither driver's getting good drive, and that's why you see this massive lead for Giafoni. And you know that the D-Force crew will be on the radio. David Martinez will be saying, we're good. He'll give them the gap and tell them what's going on. They're fighting hammer and tong right now for that position. Giafoni, the rest of the field through Thunder Valley, and they'll work their out of 10. Could this be the 6th win for Nicholas Giafoni? I guarantee you that he's got his legions of fans down in Brazil cheering him on to try to win that scholarship to move to USF 2000 next year. 19 years of age, just started college. Rolled into the racetrack here earlier today, and he used to have this nice big bushy head of hair, trimmed right down. I asked him about that. He said just went to college. I think it's kind of a little bit of a ritual. So he is aerodynamic here this weekend. I'm sure we'll see that hair grow back throughout the season, though. He didn't seem very pleased with it. Let's put it that way. Nonetheless, all working when you're up front. There's the gap. Look at this. It keeps extending. And I believe Taylor able to get a bit more gap there this time by. A little more cushion as the rest of the field coming through here on the field. There they go, rolling through Cabrera. Giafoni, Taylor, Barker, Armstrong, Schwartz, top 5. Lockhart, 6th. Remember, he was up 1 point in 4th. He had some trouble. He went down to 6th. Jefferson, 7th. Brienza, Golan, and Schouten, top 10. Back into Thunder Valley. Remember, long race here. 20 lapper, 7 laps down. Not quite to the halfway point yet. Early yellow for whatever happened to Ethan Ho. Not sure, as we know. He's kind of in the dead zone of our camera coverage. They did flat toe him back. As another driver slowing, coming onto the front straightaway. Driver is slow. One of the VRD cars, I think, slow coming onto the front chute. We're going to see him probably come around the outside of us here. Wasn't quite sure. It might have been Taylor. You see the drivers taking evasive maneuvers to come around the outside of him. And depending on where he's going to come to a stop, that may bring out another yellow because he's likely going to be just entering in. There's nowhere for that driver to go as they came out of turn number 1. I don't see him coming through there. As he's come down to turn 3, we can look back over to turn 1. And I don't see any driver who's potentially going. He might have waited for everybody to come by and potentially dove back into pit lane. So we'll keep an eye on whether or not we go full course yellow. If we did not, the driver very heads up to be able to get over into pit lane at the end of pit lane after the field has gone through. I think it's going to be Taylor in the 33 who is running a strong second. What a horrible turn of events for the young New Jersey driver who was so good, got by Barker, and was having a tremendous drive up to P2, looking for another podium. Man, gutted for Max Taylor today. We'll have to see what happens when they come back through here. I think it was Taylor. We believe it was Taylor, but listen, there's a lot of VRD cars, and we'll get them when they come back through. I think that might be Schwartz now up into the 4th spot. So when they come by, they're going to restack here, and we'll let you know. Yeah, it was Taylor had fallen back. He was 4th across the line. So lap number 9 will go in the books here. Let's have a look here. Giafoni, Barker, Armstrong. Lockhart now up to 4th, Schwartz 5th, Jeffers 6th, Brienza 7th. Brady Golan, Eric Schouten, and Max and Lucas Facuri is going to move his way up, I believe, into the 11th spot or 10th spot. So again, a couple of our front runners having some troubles. Again, we don't know whether it was contact or mechanical, some level of mechanical for Ho as he was flat-toed all the way back to pit lane. And then another mechanical potentially here for Max Taylor, taking him out of the race as well. So Taylor did come back across the line. I don't think he stopped, because he did come across the line to put lap number 9 in. So he's still on the racetrack. I wonder what happened to Max Taylor. I'll do some digging when we finish this race up here and get something posted up on social media. So follow my USF Pro Insider. I'll probably throw it up on Twitter to find out exactly what happened here with Max Taylor. Otherwise, the lead right now, 3 seconds for Giafoni as he's looking race number 6 win in the eyes. That would be huge for him. 6 wins on the season. And the other interesting thing, this is going to keep it going if he wins here. He's won it every weekend. 3 different winners at Sebring. Armstrong, Giafoni, and Brienza. Giafoni swept Barber. 2 of the 3 at VIR. If he gets this one here, he will have won it every weekend so far this year. And you think about finishing a champion. Let's say you win a championship, and you could tell your future team in USF 2000, I've won at every track. All 6 tracks we ran on last year, I won. That's a nice little feather in the cap for sure. As I said, Taylor remained on the racetrack. A little bit of a surprise there. Yeah, honestly, back down to a 126.5 with the last lap. He was a 10th off the leader. So just literally one issue coming up the front straightaway for Taylor, and it brought back up. You wonder maybe a intermittent electrical problem? Nothing else with the race car. The only thing that would do that would be some kind of an electrical. But he's back. Giafoni's lead 3.2 last time by into the second half of this race, 10 down. In fact, it'll be 11 laps down when we get back by here. Juniors drivers doing a great job out here right now. We'll give you the top 10s. They come back around. Biggest battle we have on the racetrack right now is actually for second, and it's a good one. Quinn Armstrong, the D-Force driver, giving Ethan Barker everything he can handle. Barker looking for that first career USF Juniors podium finish. He's been the fastest of the VRD drivers all day so far, although Taylor was able to get by. Taylor trying to close back up potentially on Lucas Facuri and Carson Eder. Eder gets by Facuri on the last lap, so Carson Eder now up into 10th. Taylor up on the throttle low, like we said. Trying to recover a little bit here, see if he can't salvage some points. 11 laps down. Taylor about a second quicker than Eder last time by and only about 2 seconds back. So you got to expect he's going to get through. But we do potentially have a full course yellow again. We do. Driver off. Coming through the 6-7 combination here. That might be the leader. No, that's the 17. That's Fakuri. My apologies. It looked down quickly, see a D-Force car, like, oh, no, that's Lucas Fakuri. That's an odd place to go off, too. It's almost like he may have had an issue and then actually drove off the track. Because you're not normally going to see a driver spin off there unless there's contact, unless he was racing hard with someone there. Nonetheless, we're full course. He's actually climbing out of the race car right now, which you don't normally do until they get to you. You're told to put the visor up and stay in the race car. You wait for the AMR IndyCar safety crew to get to you. Then they've secured the situation. Yeah, so he got to stay in his car right now. And he's going to get out, and I guarantee race control is going to have a chat with him after this. You stay in your race car. So another yellow flag out here. Full course yellow, 12 laps down. We're going to have ourselves a bit of a dash at the end here. AMR safety crew on its way over to Lucas Fakuri, off over in turn number 7. Just as you lead into the 7 to get over crest the hill of turn number 8. So let's give you a full field rundown right now. Giafoni is the leader. That gap of 3.2 now gone. Ethan Barker runs in second. He's been dealing with relentless pressure from Quinn Armstrong. As you can see, there's the AMR USF Pro Safety Team. It looks like they're setting up the flat toe, so it's mechanical. Going to get him back as well. So Jimmy Lockhart and Hudson Schwartz, the VRD drivers, running 4th and 5th. Jack Jefferson 6th, Joey Brienza 7th, Brady Golan 8th, Eric Schouten in 9th, and Carson Eder rounds out the top 10. Max Taylor, who was 2nd, something happened to the car mechanically. He fell back to last, has fought his way back to 11th, and to be honest, this is a savior for Max Taylor because he is going to be able to get probably significant passes here. I'm going to say Taylor could finish 8th, just based on sheer pace of what we've seen out of fast laps out of all these drivers. He's going to have a chance to go after Eder, Schouten, and Golan lately. Giovanni Cabrera running in 12th. Fakuri, of course, a couple laps down now in 13th, and Ethan Ho, as we said, out on lap number 1. They brought that car back, but he was not able to get it repaired as of yet. So there you have it. When the field goes by, they're going to flat toe Fakuri back to pit lane. And once they do, I would bet that we'll go green next time by because it's not that far here from turn number 8 back to pit lane. So they're going to put lap 13 in the books. We'll go lap 14 when they come back around for potential green. So let's say we may have a 6-lap challenge, 6-lap dash to the end of this one. Again, we're back tomorrow. This is it for the day here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for a doubleheader for the drivers here in USF Juniors. 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, qualifying for race number 2. Turn that around. And 11 o'clock, we'll cap off the weekend with race number 2 of the doubleheader. For Nicholas Giafoni, man, it was smooth sailing. 3.2 out to go for race win number 6. The difference now here is, how does it change the mindset of an Ethan Barker and a Quinn Armstrong? Quinn trying to put all the pressure on Barker to make sure he's not looking at his teammate. That's the different deal. If it was anybody other than Quinn Armstrong, P3 right now, they may try to work with Ethan Barker to try to find a way by Giafoni. Armstrong obviously wants the race win as well. Let's be real. They're teammates, but the bottom line is they're both trying to win a scholarship here. So I don't know that Armstrong's going to do everything he possibly can to kind of help his teammate, but he is going to try to go to second. We'll go green this next time by. Again, lap 14 will be done, so 6 laps essentially to the end of this one. Giafoni, Barker, Armstrong, Lockhart, Schwartz, Jeffers, Brienza, Golan, Schouten, and Eder. Top 10. 20 laps, 40-minute time window. Lots of time still to go. Again, we'll have 6 laps to go to the end of this one. Giaffoni's got to do what he's been doing. Barker wants that podium badly. In fact, wouldn't be surprised to see him attack for the win either. We talked to Ethan in the pre-show, and he knows the pace they've got. They struggled a little bit early in the season, had a couple issues. But VRD has found their pace. They found their groove. Ethan, who also does double duty, does a little bit of oval racing as well, a late model stock car and an open wheel modified. Love the diversity of his experience. Has run some Spec Miata as well, so a lot of different experience for the young driver, Ethan Barker. Privateer team last year with his dad and some crew. Barker Racing, they moved over to VRD here in 2023 to get that data, get that team knowledge. Green flag flying, we're back at it. And away we go. Barker's going to put himself on the gearbox. Giaffoni's going to go to the bottom. Oh, that was an inside-outside move. Here they come through turn number 1. Watch that defense. Holding the spot to the inside. Does anybody pop out? He does. Barker's going to go way to the outside of the track. He's going to look to try. Oh, a little push to the inside of the corner. Giaffoni overcooked it. Barker was lining up to go around the outside. How is this shooking things up? Quinn Armstrong probably diving to the inside. We'll wait for them to come out of turn number 2. This did not play well indeed. Quinn Armstrong's jumped on top of it. It's a D-Force side-by-side 1-2 down into turn number 4. Wow. Let's see how this shakes down. You can see Barker went to the outside, down to the dirty part of the inside of the racetrack. Giaffoni pushed wide. Barker was setting up for an over-under. Look at this side-by-side coming through as well. D-Force 1-2 now. Man, they're in there and fighting. I think that also maybe Jack Jeffers up there into the top 5. So what a scrap. Yeah, this did not play out for Barker at all, even though it was a mistake by Giaffoni. Look at the gaggle of cars scrapping. That might be on the outside looking in, Barker getting eaten up for a couple of spots. Back up the hill into Thunder Valley. Oh, another driver's got 4 off, and you come right back on the racetrack. Oh, you go 4 off at the top of the hill there at full song coming out of Thunder Valley. You get on the other side of the rumbles. There's an exit strip on the outside of turn number 11. It's pretty easy to drift off there. Yeah, there it is. There's into third, Jack Jeffers. What a recovery for Jeffers, taking full advantage. That's the racecraft of the young driver who was one of the top junior karters here in North America just a couple of years ago. This guy knows how to wheel it. Everybody hammering down. Let's have a look at the grid again, the full field as they work their way down the straightaway. Man, Giaffoni somehow able to hold off his teammate. Quinn Armstrong up into second. Jeffers third. Lockhart fourth. Brienza now into fifth. Joey Brienza to P5. Golan sixth. Taylor, Schwartz, Schouten, and Eder. Barker all the way back to 12th, but I believe he was able to get back into 11th in turn 2. So Barker got hung out to dry because of a mistake in turn 2 for Giaffoni. Pushed him past the apex. Armstrong capitalized. He almost got the lead, but took second away from Barker. And then Barker really was just on the outside of every corner, couldn't get back inside. Sometimes when that happens, you got to give it up and figure out where you can tuck back in. Instead, he falls deep into the field. That's him now on the tail of Carson Eder. So full recovery mode for Ethan Barker. And Barker, I think it was Barker that went off as well, coming up out of that corner, went 4 off. We saw one driver go 4 wheels off. That was definitely Barker. So D-Force 1-2. This is how they ran in both races at Barber, with Giaffoni up front and Armstrong second. Now we got the fight potentially here for third between Jack Jeffers and Jimmy Lockhart. But Joey Brienza's digging too. He's trying to close his way back up. Last time by, Brienza about a 10th quicker than Lockhart. Not close enough to challenge as of yet as they work their way down. Different camera angle there for us as they work their way down the straightaway. Look at this scrap side by side. We got some moving cameras now. Cameramen have worked their way out there for the Arca Menards race, I believe. So once the cameramen get out there, they want to practice up a little bit. We'll take it. Back down through turn number 5 over to 6th. There's your lead right now. The D-Force driver stretching out a little bit. But look at this here. Everybody stacking up behind Jack Jeffers. That is, oh, driver's gone around. One driver spinning further back. Not sure which driver that is. Hold that spot a little bit. We'll try to find out who that was. God, hard to pick that up. I don't really want to say who that is right now until they come back by. So we'll let that happen. I often err and yell a name out. And some mom and dad are at home losing their minds because I'm telling them their kids spun. Up the front straightaway, though, pretty strong here for the blue and white of D-Force Racing. They run 1-2, loud and proud out front. 17 laps in. Giafoni, Armstrong, 1-2. Jeffers runs in third. The gaggle further back. Lockhart in fourth. Brienza fifth. Sixth, Schwartz across the line. Seventh, Golan. Schouten, Barker, Eder. That was maybe Max Taylor who went around again. Oh, Taylor, who scrapped his way back up. Good fight further back here as well. We're going to pick up on the scrap further back. That's Golan, Barker, and then I believe Cabrera and Eder. Or Schouten potentially in that fight. Back down to 4. Through this 5, 6, 7 complex. There is your lead once again for Giafoni. 1.2 last time by. It'll be 2 to go when they get back to the strike. Jimmy Lockhart's the guy there putting the pressure big time on Jack Jeffers. Same with Hutchin Schwartz on Brienza. So the same team, same setup. It is the VRD driver Lockhart going after the exclusive driver Jeffers, then the VRD pilot in Schwartz going after the exclusive pilot in Brienza. So essentially, that's the battle for 3rd and 5th. Both Jeffers and Brienza able to leverage the chaos of the restart there and gain significant positions. Can they hold on to those spots over the last couple of laps? Lap 18 in the books, 2 to go. 2 laps remaining here for Giafoni. Could be his 6th win of the season. That would be massive for the Brazilian. Lap 18 coming across the line as well. We'll pick up some of the battles that we have on the racetrack. There are a bunch of them, as you can see. Bunch of one-on-one scraps. That right there is Jeffers on full defense mode. Further back, you've got, I want to say, Golan going at it with Schouten and Barker. Oh, man. Yeah, Jeffers going to see down there at the middle of the screen, top of the screen now. He's running the defensive line down into turn number 4 as Jimmy Lockhart putting all the pressure now on Jeffers, trying to come home with a 3rd. Was not happy at all with the way he qualified, but he's still running a strong 3rd right now in the exclusive Autosport Corpe machine. Tell you, Lockhart's had a good season, though, man. He's been consistent. He's knocking on the door. A couple podiums already. Jimmy Lockhart for VRD Racing, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Good scrap so far for him. 16 years of age, the Yacht Next sponsored machine. White flag flying this time by. Final lap for Giafoni. Literally 2, almost 3 wide coming down into the carousel. 3 drivers battling it out. Here's the scrap for 3rd. That's the final podium position. And you go back to those drivers there a little further back here. This is Golan, Eder, and Schouten. That's going to be 8th, 9th, and 10th. Jeffers holding on to the spot. I believe that Schwartz got by Brienza. Schwartz up to 5th. Brienza goes back to 6th now. So Hudson Schwartz able to find a way by. And we talked about the fact that Jeffers and Brienza did not qualify particularly well, not as they would have expected. Of course, Jeffers and Brienza both front-running drivers at VIR. They have yet to find the perfect setup for this particular track here at Mid-Ohio. Leader, let's follow him home right now. 1st and 2nd, Giafoni and Armstrong. Indeed, through turn 7. A battle for 3rd continuing. There's not much you can do from here. Jeffers could be coming home with a P3 position. Into Thunder Valley comes the Brazilian, though. How about 6 wins on the season here for Giafoni? Out of turn number 11, into 12, the carousel. And indeed, the championship will stretch even further for D-Force Racing, just as it did in Barber. It's a 1-2 for these 2 pilots. Race 1 in Mid-Ohio belongs to Nicholas Giafoni from D-Force Racing. Big victory, 6th of the season for the Brazilian. Quinn Armstrong completes a D-Force 1-2. They did it twice at Barber. Can they do it twice here at Mid-Ohio? Great start for D-Force Racing. Jack Jeffers holding off a determined Jimmy Lockhart. Jeffers on the podium in third. Lockhart fourth. Schwartz fifth. Good run for Hudson Schwartz up to P5. Joey Brienza sixth. Ethan Barker fights his way back all the way from 13th up to 7th. Brady Golan in 8th. Carson Eder, another top 10 in 9th. And Eric Schouten rounding out your top 10. Giovanni Cabrera, Max Taylor, Lucas Fakuri, and Ethan Ho capping off the results. For that driver there, I got to think there's a little bit of relief happening right now. You're into the second half of the season. Yeah, as I said earlier in the broadcast, 6 more races still to go. But he has got a tremendous lead right now. Giafoni, new track record here qualifying on the pole. Now, I believe a USF Juniors record at 6 wins on the season as well. So setting the record books here, the 19-year-old out of Brazil. Can't ask for much more. Out of Sao Paulo. Guaranteed there's a big group of family cheering, watching the laptop right now. They probably have us on the big screen down in Brazil, I would expect. Hello to the Giafoni family. Solid run for those 2 D-Force drivers, as we said. This guy here as well, Jack Jeffers in the Jack Jeffers in the 93. Man, didn't look good for him, but able to capitalize on that kind of chaos we had to fight his way up into third, and he'll take those points. And I guarantee you there's going to be a bunch of debriefing and working in exclusive Autosport because they're going to want to see if they can't find more speed. D-Force has got it again here this weekend, as they did at Barber. Again, drivers will work their way down in here. We'll watch the top drivers work their way into the podium here now. Giafoni for the 6th time on the season. Drive that car into victory lane. I'll tell you, like I said, with 6 more races to go, he'll know exactly what he needs to do to potentially hold on to a championship here. We'll wait for him to get into victory lane. Once that happens, we'll cut to a quick break. I'll hustle my tail over to victory lane, and we'll have a chance to hand out some hardware to these young drivers here, front end of the doubleheader. Possibility that we may end up having to just go local as the drivers in the Arca Menard series getting ready to roll out for their practice session. So not sure whether or not we'll be able to carry the entire victory lane celebrations. If we can, we'll let you know. But there he is, folks, out of the car. Good side shot there. Yeah, the emotion you can see when these guys get out of the car is tremendous. That is for sure. Quick chat with the crew. A little congratulations. Again, Nicholas Giafoni, 6 times a winner on the season. There's Mom rolling in for a hug. Folks, don't go anywhere. We get back. We'll be at victory lane. Pass out some hardware to the top 3 drivers.
Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio, ending up with 3 drivers working their way to the podium. Let's start with the driver coming home in third, taking full advantage of the chaos of that restart, finishing in third for exclusive Autosport, Jack Jeffers. Solid run there for Jack to fight his way forward, then holds off, but Jimmy Lockhart to the end of that race for sure. We'll move to the driver coming home in second. Another driver with still in the scrap the entire race long, coming home strongly for second spot. He too goes to Quinn Armstrong. D-Force 1-2. Quinn Armstrong driving second. One more driver to bring up here, folks. A tremendous run. The winner today in his 6th race of the year and he extends his point lead. Nicholas Giafoni winning for D-Force Racing. Nicholas, you can grab your trophy here right now. We'll have a quick interview here as well. Hop down here with me. Congratulations, Ben. Obviously, 6th win is big. You won in every event so far this year. For you, championship-wise, how do you start feeling now with that gas drum?
Well, I got 3-4. It feels ready to go. I don't want to get myself comfortable here. Usually in the tradition is that cars racing on the track. We have that strong performance everywhere. I hope I can decided to get the boss. So it was a huge effort from people to make the car very, very good. And I'm just a driver and I think it doesn't matter.
Let's talk about that move up in turn number 2. The marker was on the outside, you were on the inside, you pushed him in wide, that brought Quinn back in. That was probably the only thing for you, but what happened there? You saw the inside of the racetrack?
Yeah, I was on the inside. I felt like I was going to get in on the inside. I was almost to the grass. I just put a brake where I normally brake, but I was more on my tire, so it was difficult to stop. Well, just a race, and I hope we can get to that inside.
Let me give you a chance to thank all of you to help me here.
Well, first of all, my father, my mother, they support me a lot. My main sponsor, Oakley, and all the people who do the driving amazing.
Congratulations to that trophy. Get up on top of the podium. Let's get things underway. One more time, a round of applause, folks. My drivers here on the podium today. D-Board Racing ends up 1-2. Jack Shepard fighting his way forward. That's what he needed to do after that qualifying effort. Started his way on the podium. That's what top drivers do. They make things happen. A great job for Jack Shepard. He ends up in P3, but again, D-Board, as they begin in Harvard Motorsports, part with these two drivers, a 1-2 finish with the Neophone and Armstrong, the Brazilian and the Australian, doing a great job there to get match points. As Nick said, when you're a champion like where you are, you keep pushing, you keep digging. The more races you win, you kind of let things take care of themselves in terms of the championship. But again, we look forward to, of course, getting to our next race here tomorrow morning. We'll get back on the racetrack at 11 o'clock after racing qualifying earlier in the day. From there, we move and look forward to a trip to Road America for drivers here at the USF Juniors program. We'll be back, of course, next week. The 3 weekend in a row for the USF Pro Championships. We were here in Mid-Ohio last week with USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000. Here this weekend with USF Juniors. And we'll go north of the border next weekend to Toronto for the Honda Meet Toronto for USF 2000 and USF Pro. But the cap takes off here from Mid-Ohio. Race number 1, the Champagne Racing guys. Go ahead and grip it, let's celebrate. Race number 1 of USF Juniors here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Yeah, those champagnes are finished today and they're putting them back on tomorrow. We're going to do it all over again. Race 2 qualifying tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. Starting to get things rolling for the broadcast here. Doubleheader here in Ohio halfway through. And again, great to have all of you tuning into the broadcast here at USF Pro TV. On behalf of everyone from Anderson Promotions and Cooper Tire, come on back tomorrow. Lots more racing, folks. My name's Rob House.